Hi, my name is Dr. Chris Eby. Dr. Canali asked me to talk to you about three global environmental issues: ocean acidification, global warming, and the ozone hole. We're going to start with global warming. So what is global warming? Well, scientists don't always call it global warming or climate change. When we want to be precise, we call it anthropogenic climate change. Well, what does that mean? Anthrop means people or related to people. Gen comes from the word for start. So it's human started or human caused climate change. Now, anthropogenic climate change is tied to greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are gases in our atmosphere that can cause the temperature to rise or our atmosphere to warm because they absorb portions of the wavelight, okay, or portions of the electromagnetic spectrum. So what's going on with these greenhouse gases? In other words, the gases in our atmosphere that cause our atmosphere to warm. Those can include CO2, methane, which is CH4, and water. Well, to understand this, we need to understand that sunlight comes in a variety of different wavelengths. We have the visible light spectrum, in other words, the rainbow, Roy, R-O-Y-G, BIV, okay? I didn't have a good indigo color, so we just went with purple. So I make these myself. So outside of that visible light spectrum, the sun is actually producing a range of different wavelengths. See, the sun is a star. It's not our friend. It's not like some cute little anthropomorphized thing. It's a star, and it's belching out huge amounts of cosmic radiation. So that includes everything from UV light, which is on this end, X-rays, gamma rays. Also, if we go beyond the red spectrum, infrared and microwaves. Now, we can't really see all parts of the electromagnetic spectrum. Good example is that with UV, and here I've colored it with a little bit of like a glow highlighter. Well, what makes a glow highlighter glow? It's actually the small amount of natural UV around us. So if I turn on this UV light here, we can see that it really glows. Why? Because it's what's called fluorescent. This particular type of dye will absorb photons in the UV spectrum and re-release them into a glowing orange that we can see with our naked eyes. Now, a portion of the light spectrum that we can't see that's important for global warming is this infrared end of the spectrum. This is a wavelength that's captured by a lot of greenhouse gases, including CO2. One of the things that messes up a lot of people in a discussion about global warming or climate change, or however you want to phrase it, is that they're kind of making it a little bit more complicated than it needs to be. The basic scientific fact is that CO2, water, methane, and a lot of other gases can absorb certain wavelengths of light, and that causes them to heat up. This is as natural and predictable as if you wear a black shirt on a bright sunny day, that will also absorb light and heat up. Now, why is that relevant? Why do we think about humans causing climate change? Well, the important idea here is that humans are producing a lot of CO2. We're producing other gases like methane that are also greenhouse gases, but we make a lot of CO2. And we make that CO2 by burning fossil fuels, burning down rainforests. Because that additional CO2 in the atmosphere will absorb more infrared radiation, that will cause the Earth's temperature to warm. In the same way that if you cover a giant area with black asphalt and you shine sunlight on it, that asphalt will heat up a whole heck of a lot. Why? Because it's absorbing a larger area covered with the asphalt will absorb more of that sunlight. Same idea. More CO2 in the atmosphere will absorb more of that infrared radiation and will naturally heat up. Now, how fast it's happening, how much it's happening, is something that's an active area of scientific research. Different scientists will say it's different amounts, but they all agree on this basic physical principle.